Glenn Parker High Vibration Foundation. I wanted to talk about the idea of breatharianism, breatharians, and the raising of consciousness, starting to question that the systems that we've adapted, the systems that we believe in, are true because we believe in them. And the idea that breatharians have either gone through a process, whether it's a 21-day process or whether it was through other permission slips, sometimes goddesses or gods of their particular religions have presented themselves and they said you don't need to eat anymore as a permission slip. Others just take to it for a couple days, and then on like the third or fifth day they feel nourished and they feel that they don't need to eat anymore. So various permission slips, various different places. Taoists actually have a practice where for the masters they can get to a place where they can live off of, I think it's called Bai Chi. It's B-I space G-U if you want to look it up. And it's getting to a place where that is a consequence, where your life force is, you've built so much Chi that you're living off your life force. And it's more of a Qigong martial arts practice. And all these different ideas, that type of practice of Bai Chi was documented over 2,000 years ago, or some of the Chinese internal wars, the civil wars, and they were documenting it even back then. So this idea of not having to eat, you present that to doctors, they're like, we can't explain that, it's not scientific. There's quantum scientists that have commented on these topics, and I have my own ideas, and I kind of agree with a lot of the quantum scientists and some of the speculation I've heard from other people, especially if you know that you are an eternal being in a timeless reality having an earth experience, and you are creating your reality billions of times a second and streaming consciousness through all these parallel realities, that it is basically what you give yourself permission to do. And training into this, and training into the idea of being a breatharian, or the idea of overall collective consciousness, seating consciousness, all these different people, they're sitting down to dinner and other people are like, oh, are you not hungry? Is there something wrong? Like, no, I just don't eat anymore. They're like, oh, excuse me, something wrong with you? Is seating consciousness more and more. Now all these studies are all over the internet. There's a study of a guru that like for 60, 70 years hasn't eaten. They took him in for 10 days into a hospital in India, a high-end hospital, a corporate hospital, where you have this corporate insurance and whatnot, not just a general hospital, but a corporate hospital, which is almost like a private hospital from my understanding. And all these doctors, many of which have studied abroad, in other countries and come back to India to practice, all participated in this, and all these different doctors, and they supervised them 24/7, and they switched out different cameramans, and there was security, blah, blah, blah. End result, we don't know, but we'll publish it because we promised that we would, either way, whether we figured out he was, cheating, or if we figured out that it was true. And that started all kinds of conscious awareness, and I think that is the whole idea of breatharianism, is to raise conscious awareness that you are the creator in your universe. To me personally, that is the idea. And I think the energetic idea, the physics of it, is plants, for instance, they take in light through a photosynthesis and they store it energetically within the plant structure. Now animals consume this, and animals also, just like humans, would hold this into their energetic state. They hold these vitamins and minerals, and each one of these has an energetic signature, has a unique signature. That's how it's identified as a vitamin, a mineral, enzyme, all these types of items. So the idea is that you're taking in plant, but you're literally converting the plant into energy. You're taking vitamins, minerals, enzymes out of there, and your body's converting it into energy. You're literally, it's a storage container for energy, as are animals if you're eating animals. And they're eating grasses and they're being fed other things, and the end result, they had some kind of plant or some kind of intake that has energy stored in it. So you're skipping, the idea of breatharianism is that you're skipping the step of having to take in and biochemically break these things down. And it's fantastic for anti-aging because the biochemical process of doing that accelerates the aging process, because your body has to take more processes to get that done, whether and then And then the idea of not having to use the bathroom, not having to urinate or have to pass stool. I like that idea, and I'm a very cleanly person. I like to shower every day, blah, 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 a couple times a day generally, and, like morning and when I go to bed. And the idea of not having to use the bathroom as far as a time management type of thing is fantastic. And for cleaning, that's even better. And there was somebody that was interviewed in a movie. In the beginning, there was light, and they originally started all these ideas. And my idea of holding the idea that you didn't need to eat for a while, and actually there was a while that I didn't have to eat. Well, past that I ate vastly less because I had bought my normal amount of food. I'm pretty regimented when I eat during the course of the day. I exercise every day. And I'm going to the fridge in a couple days, and I'm like, why is there all this extra food? And my weight was stable, everything was fine. I just noticed that when I was holding this intent as to the idea that you didn't need to eat as a permission slip, as a breatharian permission slip, that I ate less, and I felt quite a bit better. And I took the idea of going and getting, being outside a little bit and getting some light, and the idea of just, taking in, even inside the house, taking a light and ingesting it. And when I was mentally doing that, I'd noticed that I ate less. So these ideas of the scientists and quantum physicists and all that are actually saying is that we don't know how it works. We're not saying that if it works, but we're seeing these other, lots of these types of things come out there where people say that they haven't been eating, and there's now kind of documentation being shown up. The medical facilities are starting to document these types of processes. There's a documentary out. I'm going to go through the process of interviewing the filmmaker who made the documentary, and they should see that pretty soon. So all this idea of a permission slip that you don't need to eat, and there's tons of different ways to do this now. There's a couple books out there that have someone has been doing this for decades. There's the Taoist tradition, the Qigong tradition of getting into it. There's the idea of, and I like this one for me personally, that I've always liked it because I do this with clients, for going into the one moment to going into the now moment, to getting to a peaceful state and realizing more what they are, is in training other people one-on-one physically to do this. And that there's a lot of Qigong practitioners, that actually go out there and have classes that are doing this type of practice, that have the Bai Chi type of practices where they're not ingesting food. And they, in the group or individualized sessions, they can go in and impart this energy out, and you can entrain into it so that you don't need to do a 21-day process. You can do it in a couple days, or a day, a month, a year, a minute. It's whatever permission you give yourself, since you already have the idea. And it's, again, an idea, permission from one person to another, and training into their energy. And I think this idea into collective consciousness of entraining into this energy, passing this energy along, is passing along the idea as well. Like, this video will spur other people to go, hey, breatharianism, what's that all about? And if you've watched this video, you're going to say, hey, that's interesting, maybe I'll integrate that into my life and get some other lateral materials, or go check out this documentary. And I just think it's an overall fascinating process, and I love food. I love the taste of food. I have a very selective diet. I'm allergic to a billion different things, and it's a very small range of foods. It's mostly raw and organic foods, and like a very select amount of meats and fish. And do love my sushi, though, I have to say. But could I give that up for this idea of being a breatharian, and the idea of giving myself permission to do that? I think I probably could. And from all the descriptions I'm hearing, is that it's a state of fullness that is unrealized by eating. You can eat and you're full, but either overly full. It's a state that's a different idea than eating. It's a full state that's more of an energetically full. And there's a type of photography where they're looking at energetic state and aura, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. And they, in this one documentary, they had somebody who's a breatharian, and they didn't do it through any type of traditional, in Russia, and it wasn't a traditional type of breatharian, entrainment, 21-day or whatnot. It was something altogether different. It was very quick, and they did her energetic field, her aura, you know, and they do it through your fingers and your body. And hers was perfect, a perfect energetic state. It was an energetic state of like a very, very, very fit athlete, and she was an older woman. And in no way fit, you know, in that in those terms, at least in that idea of externally being fit, but energetically she was perfectly fit, and she was not eating. And I don't remember if she was drinking or not, but I know she wasn't eating. So these ideas fascinate me. I know these all are permission slips. It's what you want to give yourself permission to do, and I think all of that and the documentary and all the ideas around it and all the people that have been doing research before then and were able to go through and start to try to document these processes are also raising overall collective consciousness to say, hey, question, question, question. We know in quantum science that consciousness has to come into play for anything to happen. Superposition and collapse of the waveform prove this. Nothing exists. It only exists as potential energy until a consciousness sees it and collapses it down into one particular event. Parallel reality is infinite. Consciousness, belief systems, ideas, boom, reality. And there you have it. I think that's everything I wanted to share. I really wanted to just kind of get that out. I'd love to have feedback on that. If anybody's tried the breatharian process, or if they have been breatharians and they're not now, or if they intended to, I'd love to kind of document that process as well. If you intend on doing something and you're on the West Coast, that would be interesting to me as well. I'd like to kind of follow that process along to see how you do, so please feel free to contact me. Thank you very much. Love and light, and have a fantastic day.